David Mbeki and Anna van der Merwe, 2 rangers of the Kruger Game Reserve, South Africa, set out on a long patrol. In the morning, they had gone too far from the center, so they couldn't return in time for their usual break and lunch. The sun was scorching hot across the savannah, but the shade from the big trees gave them a rare bit of coolness. The two decided to rest under an old tree, taking advantage of the short silence between the tense patrols. Anna opened a bottle of water, drinking slowly, while David wiped his sweat and kept his eyes alert. The peaceful space was filled with only the sound of the wind blowing through the leaves and the chirping of birds echoing everywhere. Suddenly, David frowned when he heard a strange, soft, lingering sound like a faint moan. He immediately raised his hand to signal Anna to be quiet, then strained his ears to listen more carefully, his eyes solemn. The sound continued to echo from the bushes, causing both of them to simultaneously feel their hearts beating abnormally fast. They glanced at each other, without saying anything, but they both clearly felt that something unusual was approaching. A leopard stepped out from the bushes, its body covered in red open wounds and covered in dust. Its yellow fur was ragged and patchy with fallen hair, showing that it had just gone through a fierce battle. Anna stiffened, her hand unconsciously tightening its grip on the water bottle, her eyes wide with fear and pity. David lowered his hand to touch the tranquilizer gun, his eyes never leaving the animal, ready in case of danger. The strange thing was that the leopard did not roar, nor did it show any threatening attitude. It only let out weak groans, its tired eyes looking straight at them as if begging for help. That gaze made Anna pause, her heart suddenly aching as she realized its pain. David spoke softly to Anna, his voice calm but serious, "It won't attack, keep watching." The leopard stopped about 5 meters away from them, then gently lay down, breathing heavily and its body trembling. Its chest heaved violently, showing exhaustion, its eyes half closed but still trying to look at the 2 humans in front of it. Anna nodded slightly, understanding that the animal was not an enemy, but was yearning for a chance to survive. David took a deep breath, preparing to make the most important decision of today's patrol. The space became so quiet that only the sound of the wind and the panther's wheezing breath could be heard. Anna stared intently into the bewildered but earnest eyes, clearly feeling the weakness and despair. David thought quickly, then tilted his head to signal Anna to prepare because the moment of action had come. "We don't have much time left, if we delay it could collapse and never wake up," he whispered. Anna nodded, her eyes never leaving the animal, in order to keep it calm and not panic in the crucial moment. David raised the tranquilizer gun, aiming precisely at the wounded leopard's left shoulder. A small, pop sound rang out, the tranquilizer arrow shot towards the target in a split second. The leopard only let out a weak groan, then its eyes slowly closed, its body collapsing to the ground. The 2 rangers rushed over to check, their hearts still beating rapidly in tension and anxiety. Anna breathed a sigh of relief, softly saying, "We have to bring it back immediately, David." David and Anna quickly checked its breathing and pulse, luckily it was still stable although weak. The deep, bleeding wounds made both of them feel sad and sorry for its miserable situation. They used a specialized stretcher to carry the leopard onto a pickup truck equipped for animal emergencies. Anna deftly covered the wounds with clean towels, trying to minimize the risk of further infection. David got into the driver's seat, started the car, his eyes strained but his hands firmly holding the steering wheel. On the bumpy road through the forest, they kept calling the walkie-talkie to let the veterinary center know in advance. Anna sat next to the leopard, her hand close to her, ready to help whenever it had respiratory problems. The space in the car was stuffy and tense, but the hope of saving it still burned in their hearts. Each passing minute felt like an hour, David focused intensely on the road ahead. Finally, the silhouette of the Kruger Veterinary Center appeared, bringing with it a sense of relief that filled their hearts. When the car stopped, a team of veterinarians immediately appeared, pushing a stretcher to bring the leopard into the brightly lit clinic. An experienced doctor quickly examined it and said, "Many wounds, probably from a battle for territory." The team of doctors began to carefully disinfect each scratch and deep bite on the leopard's body. Blood oozed from the wounds, but each sturdy stitch gradually brought hope of survival. Anna stood outside, her hands clasped tightly, her eyes red with worry and pity for the other life. David folded his arms, his eyes glued to the scene, constantly praying for a successful treatment. After many tense hours, the doctor announced, "The treatment has been initially successful, now we just need to monitor its recovery." The leopard was placed in a resuscitation cage, with a heart and breathing monitor attached, and bright lights surrounding it. At first, it was barely alive, but by afternoon, its breathing gradually became more regular, which relieved the whole group. A day later, it woke up, its eyes tired but willing to eat some fresh meat placed next to it. Anna smiled through her tears, softly saying, "It has started to fight again, David." He put his hand on her shoulder, and said in a low voice, "We will accompany it until it is completely healthy." The two rangers decided to visit regularly, to follow every positive change of the leopard. Each day, the belief in its recovery grew stronger in both of their hearts. A week passed, the leopard's wounds had healed, and its body gradually regained strength. It was transferred to a semi-wild enclosure, which simulated the natural environment to help it train its instincts. At first, its steps were still slow, but its eyes were less gloomy, shining with hope. David and Anna stood outside the fence, observing every action, their hearts filled with emotion. The doctors hid fresh meat in the grass, forcing it to pounce like a real hunter. Although it pounced slowly, it did not give up, each attempt clearly improved its skills. With each passing day, its body became stronger, its steps more steady, its majestic appearance returned. Anna exclaimed softly, "Look, David, it is really regaining its instincts." He smiled, his eyes filled with pride. It is a warrior who never surrenders to fate. In the evening light, the leopard's figure stretched out, its shadow printed proudly on the yellow grass. The veterinarians confirmed positive progress, noting that its health recovered faster than expected. The leopard now actively ate and drank, even starting to lick its fur to keep itself clean. It asserted its small territory in the cage, a sign that its spirit was returning strongly. David and Anna knew for sure that the day it would be released was not far away. After a month, the wounds had completely healed, new fur covered the old scars, looking full of life. David and Anna drove it to the exact place they had discovered during their patrol that day. They opened the cage door, their eyes waiting for the first moment of freedom after long days of treatment. The leopard slowly walked out, taking a deep breath of the familiar wild prairie wind. It stopped, turned its head to look at the two rangers, its eyes lit up with a silent ray of gratitude. Anna said softly, her voice choked, "Go, return to your free world." David nodded, his heart filled with indescribable emotions, feeling that all the efforts were worth it. The leopard dashed off, blending into the vast grasslands, its appearance strong and free. The two rangers looked at each other, a relieved smile on their radiant faces. They knew that they had just returned a precious life to nature.